Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Man, boy, what a weekend. What a 2 week, like from Christmas to New Year's, if you were a Panthers fan. Roller coaster of emotion.
Kaza, how long have we been doing this show?
6 years
And this is the first time we can say what?
that the Panthers are in the playoffs.
Okay, wait, time out. Say
Yeah.
that one more time,
The
man.
Carolina Panthers are in the NFL playoff for the first
Like,
time in 8 years.
so you mean to tell me there's going to be like games in January that are not regular season games? Is that what you're telling me?
The Carolina Panthers are going to play a home game because they didn't just make the playoffs. They won the division.
Kaza, regardless of how this happened and how this looked, you couldn't have told me in the beginning of the season we were going to win the division.
I'll say this, okay? The Panthers limped into the division a little bit. Not as bad as people think, and we'll talk about that.
All right.
But to get here, they had to beat the Rams, the Packers, the Cowboys, and the defending division champion Buccaneers at least once. They had to beat them at least once. And they almost beat them twice. We'll talk about yesterday's game. Yeah. So I don't like the idea that we just kind of stumbled into this position. The Panthers put themselves in the position by winning games they weren't supposed to win. They could have made it easier by winning games they were supposed to win, particularly even one of those two Saints losses would have won the division, weeks ago. But it is what it is. They had to beat the Bucs at least once, and a lot of people didn't think they would even do that. They did that. And beating the Bucs twice was going to be tough, especially since the second game was in Tampa. And the weather, Tampa's a tough place to play. Tampa's a good team. They're better on paper. They're better than the Panthers. The officiating, we'll get to that in a minute. But to only lose by 2 points, despite all of that,
despite having about 9 points taken from you, but we'll get into that.
Exactly. So the Panthers, there's going to be some debate about whether or not they deserve this. But if it was, I think if the Bucs hadn't limped into the playoffs, their fans might say we don't really deserve this. We stink compared to the standard that we've upheld over the last few years. They won a Super Bowl 4 years ago?
Right.
So I could see that. But this is the Panthers. We haven't made the playoffs in 8 years. We haven't won the division in a decade. And nobody, I don't care what anybody says, Danny, I know we discussed this yesterday, but nobody picked the Panthers to win the division. Nobody. If you can find one media pundit that picked the Panthers to win the division this year, that's an outlier. That's an anomaly.
And plus, what I want to say about as far as all this rigmarole about deserving to be there and things like that, man, let's look outside of the Panthers for a second, and let's look at the rest of not just the NFC, but the NFL. Man, how many 7-9 and 8-8 teams are kind of just – did I lose? Okay, are kind of just lumped in to the standards. You understand what I'm saying? So somebody's got to go. And to your point, we took care of business when it was time to take care of business. Yeah, they had losses on that record, but if we don't beat Green Bay in Green Bay, I might add, if we don't beat the LA Rams, which was the game me and you attended, I want to say me and Kyler had something to do with that. You know what I'm saying?
We did.
But if the Panthers don't take care of business when they were supposed to take care of business, we're talking about it. We're talking about off season today. So I don't want to hear this stuff about you don't deserve to go, because somebody from the NFC South had to go, and we did what we were supposed to do in order to get there. It's as simple as that, man.
Absolutely. Real quick, by the way, I was shadow banned on Facebook because they think I'm trying to traffic drugs. So you may not see this live on Facebook. Go tell your friends they're gonna have to go to YouTube and watch for this week. I cannot post live videos for 30 days.
Guys, man, we need to talk about some of your career choices, man.
I know, right? Hey, look, look, the economy sucks. I'm trying to make this cake. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to come up. So Facebook hating.
I mean, God, man, they just won't let a brother DJ and traffic drugs, man. Like,
if I
come
can't
on,
move
man.
bricks on Facebook, what you know what I'm saying?
What are we here for? You know what I'm saying? Damn, so what are we doing?
Let's go back in time.
Kids
24
do not
hours.
traffic drugs.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't try to do those, especially not on the internet. Let's go back 24 hours. To win 24 hours ago, kickoff for Panthers Bucs happened. And I really thought the Panthers were going to win. I felt like the Bucs didn't want it that much.
Right.
Baker had been looking kind of shaky. They had some key injuries. And I felt like actually the weather would benefit the Panthers with the way that we run the ball and play defense. And it was a fairly close, it was a close game. I feel like I didn't think the Panthers played terribly. I felt like the coaching let them down. And the referees, okay, there were some, and here's the thing about referees. We've said this weekly about NBA and NFL. There's nothing you can do about it, and it's always poor form to blame the referees for a loss.
Right. Because
I feel like, players and coaches know there's nothing you can do about the refs, right?
Yep.
So you just have to play well enough to mitigate their impact.
And probably not call flea flickers on the 20-yard line.
Exactly, which the Panthers did not do. They didn't do themselves any favors with that, with the play calling. However, I just asked that the refs call the game consistently and fairly.
Consistently. Yep.
The first Panthers penalty was a taunting call by Mike Jack on Baker Mayfield, which, first of all, that was bullshit, right? This is essentially a division championship game, and you're going to call a flag for a guy John at the quarterback he just made a play on.
Kaiser, that happens literally every other damn play.
Every play.
Right. Every play, some players in somebody else's face. Like, come on, man.
You're going to call taunting every time? He must have said something egregious. That's the only thing I can think of, right?
Look, man, because he didn't do some choreographed dance. He didn't throw up a gang sign. You know what I'm saying?
No, right.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I felt like, and right then I thought, the fix is in.
You saw what's up that first call, right?
Yeah, the conspiracy, because I thought, first of all, it was weird for the NFL to flex this game to a Saturday, right? Knowing that it was a possibility that the real game would be today, Saints Falcons, right? If the Panthers won yesterday, why would anyone outside of the states of Georgia and Louisiana watch today's game?
Even care? Why would they care?
Half the people in the state wouldn't even have watched today's game.
Guys,
right?
I wish we had some fancy stats about the ratings yesterday and today.
I gotta dig and find out. I just thought, man, this is just all of those kinds of calls. Sometimes you just play poor. Like when they played the Saints a few weeks ago, the Panthers were undisciplined coming out of the bye week. They got a lot of penalties that were their fault. Okay? False starts, hold, stuff like that. But when your player gets his helmet ripped off, there were 2 face masks on that play that the refs miss.
That's supposed to be automatic flag, man. Automatic flag,
right? I mean, the guy's helmet is rolling down the field. Nobody sees it.
Nobody sees it.
Nobody's, and I'm like, so you saw a taunting call. A taunting call. You saw that.
But you don't see that helmet rolling at your feet. You don't see that. Right.
The backward pass. That
you called dead, by the way.
That you called dead, right?
Called dead on the field, by the way. And then after you called it dead, you said, "Well, it rolled out of bounds." So let's
even though it didn't roll out of bounds.
Come on, man.
The OPI. That's a tough one. Here, my problem with it is the flag was late. You waited till after he made the catch to decide. You know what? He pushed off of the jam. Now, the explanation the referees gave was that because the push off, the ball wasn't even in the air. The referees stated that he created separation too far down the field. So like a wide receiver cannot create physical separation, meaning push off or hand fighting, after a certain amount of time down the field.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that looked well within 5 yards, bro.
Well, what was he gonna do? He was being jammed at the line of scrimmage.
I guess he was just supposed to stand there and just let the guy manhandle him at the line.
Of course he was, because the plan was for the Bucs to win that game. Right. That's my conspiracy theory, right?
Right. And Kyle, let me say this real quick, man. Like you know me, I hate conspiracy theories. I don't like them in general, man. A lot of them are BS. But dude, all the evidence that we saw from yesterday and the flexing of the game, you know what I'm saying? And now that you've made this Falcons and Saints, which should be a meaningless game, now you've made that game matter. Like, it's just so much evidence to not have these theories. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. The Panthers, let's talk about it, did not do themselves any favors with their game plan.
Right.
The Bucs, like most teams, have said, okay, we're not going to let Rico Dowdle run on us. We're not going to let you run the ball. So Bryce Young has to beat us to the air. And I didn't think Bryce Young played poorly. That one pick was on him. I didn't think he played all that poorly. I just feel like the play calling wasn't good enough to allow him to do. We've said over the last few weeks, let that man throw the ball. You gotta live or die with Bryce.
I want to insert my hot take kind of early here. If the Panthers don't do anything else in the offseason, if they don't do anything else, if they don't go get a damn offensive coordinator, I'm going to go down to Bank of America Stadium and protest.
Bro,
I have never in my life seen a team that needs an offensive coordinator more than the Carolina Panthers do, man.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of a coach doing the play calling, regardless of who they are. A coach has to do so much during the game and manage the game. Even before the game, there's so much an NFL coach has to do, to where I feel like the play calling and creating the playbook, and I know Canales doesn't do that by himself, but the play calling during the game, leave that to someone else. Leave that to someone who can focus on
strictly on that. Right. And you manage the team like head coaches normally do. Right.
Yeah. Like the situation stuff. I don't have a problem with his situational decisions. Going for it on fourth. I'm glad we've gone on fourth more than any team in the NFL. Because
I like that part. Yeah. Right.
But the play calling on some of the
we shouldn't be getting to so many fourth downs. That's my problem.
Exactly that. And I feel like some of the decisions, on those or some of those play calls on the decisions to go for it on fourth down just weren't very good. We didn't run into that yesterday, but that flea flicker.
There's no expectation, bro.
Dave Canales tried to justify it yesterday. And I'm
glad the media asked him about that. I am.
Yeah, I guess if you thought that you could catch Tampa off guard, but given the situation, it was raining, the field was slippery, players had slipped earlier. Just run the ball.
Just run the ball. Just run the ball. Just keep it simple, man. Do whatever you were doing to get to that point. You were at least in field goal range. You kicked the field goal, we're having another conversation. It's that simple.
They won the game. They lost by 2. They lose by 2 in a field goal there.
Speaking of field goals, I want to ask you this, man. How did you feel about Canales going for that 57-yard field goal in those conditions? I hate to frame the question that way, but
especially considering in the past you would go for it in that situation,
right?
And I would have been okay with him going for it on fourth down, considering that's something the Panthers have done all season. But I don't understand why you kick it there in those conditions. And that's
Right.
another thing. Like having to focus on the play call and the situational decision at the same time, I don't think is doing Dave Canales any favors. It just
Right.
isn't. Let
And that's
somebody else
evidence
call the
of
play.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let someone
that's
else say and make the decision, be aggressive. Hey, let's go for it on this fourth down instead of kicking the field goal. And then let Rob, what's Rob Chazinski doing? Call him up.
What's
Yeah.
Hey, Kaz, you still got that picture that you hang up and you just look at like, hey, Rob. I miss that
Oh,
guy.
man.
I
Yeah.
really miss that guy right now. Could you imagine an offense with Bryce Young and
Oh
Robinson?
my
Seriously, dude.
God. Oh my
But
God.
anyway, I'm dreaming. Whatever. Yeah. Kaza, man, we should look, man. This is supposed to be a celebratory show. Man,
Yeah,
we're back in look. Regardless of how it happened, we are a part of the conversation. When the playoffs start, the Carolina Panthers are a part of this playoff scenario that we have not been a part of in I don't know how many years, 6, 8, whatever. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So, with that being said, man, is there any team you don't want to face versus who you want to face? Because I'll be honest, I don't want the 49ers coming here. I'll be completely honest.
Man, I don't want to face. I would prefer not to face any of the NFC East teams. Which, well,
Right.
there's only one, the Eagles.
There's
I think
only one.
yeah, and we wouldn't play them, right? So
I think it's going to be the Rams or the 49ers.
It looks like it's going to be the Rams are the 5th seed right now.
Right.
So the Seahawks get the bye. So it looks like it would be the Rams. Now, the Rams, since they lost to us, have looked kind of
pedestrian.
Yeah. I mean, they lost to the Falcons. They were the best team in the league. They looked like they were going to take the number 1 seed, and then they lost their division. They're third in their division, right? The last time they came here, they had to travel all the way across the country to face us in the rain and the cold. That might be the same case come next weekend, and I wouldn't mind facing the Rams again. Now, here's the thing. They're going to want some get back.
Absolutely.
They're going to be like, hey, we're in the same situation we were 2 months ago. Let's prove we're the better team.
And regardless of what's going on, man, they got some championship pedigree. You know what I mean? They got some playoff experience on that team, man. So it won't be easy. I mean, look, man. Let me be very realistic about the expectations I have for the Panthers, man. To even to have a conversation about the playoffs and the Panthers has probably exceeded my expectations before the season. Let's say that. Okay. So, if the Rams come here next week, I'm 50-50 on it, being that we beat them before, you know what I mean? 50% of, what we just talked about. So again, man, it's just kind of like up in the air whether we beat them or not. Past the Rams.
The 49ers are a bad matchup for us because of Christian McCaffrey. That's the reason why. I don't.
Right.
I feel like the last time we played the 49ers, I mean, we could have beaten them. We picked Brock Purdy off 3 times. We just couldn't score off those turnovers.
Right.
And that's because, the offense is inconsistent. Coaching, the play calling was very suboptimal that particular game. The Seahawks, I think, we're obviously not going to play the Seahawks, but they're the worst of the teams or the best of the teams. We don't want to play the Seahawks.
Right. I think the Seahawks are coming out the NFC, quite honestly. That's my
they look like they got hot at the right time.
Yeah, and their defense is like just amazing right now. So yeah.
So yeah, it looks like it's gonna be the Rams. I guess we'll talk to our predictions about that later, but let's talk more about yesterday's game. Let's take a look at the box score, and I want to look at Bryce Young's stats. Now, 24 for 35, 266 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. No sacks. Did not get sacked even once. How do you feel about Bryce Young's performance in such a big game?
I feel like Bryce played okay, and I think I can say this and have this and probably have this conversation every week. I look, man. I'm very low on the play calling, and I've been that way all season, man. I'm just not. I hate to sound like a broken record. I'm just not a fan of Canales' play calling, man. I'm not a fan of how conservative we look at times. And I've even went as far as to say I think Canales is even holding Bryce Young back. And I'm probably in the minority, but I truly believe that. And I also believe that Bryce's wide receivers don't really do him any justice either. And we can say that pick was on Bryce. Which, look, man, I'm not even really here to argue it that much. But I wish I could kind of study film and look at some of the routes these receivers run. I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you an example as to what I'm talking about. There was I believe it was on the first play or the first drive, and it was a third down, and Bryce Young threw a ball to Xavier Legette. And I don't know if y'all remember, what's my man, Louis Riddick was talking about how Xavier Legette basically could have ran the route a little better, basically could have sat in the zone a little better. And I kind of see that from all of our wide receivers outside of Tet. You know what I mean? And I think Tet is too much of a safety blanket for Bryce Young. So I want to see us. I eventually want to see that passing game evolve. You understand what I'm saying? So I know that's a lot to say for one little question, man. But as far as Bryce Young's performance, like it's always going to be an asterisk for me personally, because the offense in general, the passing game in general, for me leaves a lot to be desired, man. So that's why I can just never really give Bryce Young like a complete grade most weeks, and I feel that way about yesterday's game too.
I think was Bryce Young's biggest game of his career as far as the stakes, right? This is a divisional championship game. And I don't think the Panthers lost because of Bryce Young. The one pick he threw was bad, but I mean, I didn't think his performance was egregious. I mean, 68% passing on 266 yards, and the Panthers almost won the game. And I think if the Panthers had gotten the ball back, they were able to stop Tampa late in the fourth quarter from getting that first down.
And real quick, Kaiser, not to cut you off, with those stats you just read, remember that's minus 35 yards for that ball he threw to Ted that got called back. So
you're absolutely right. He would have had 300 yards passing if that play had stood. So I feel like that's the kind of performance you want to see from your quarterback going into the playoffs.
No doubt.
Right? I mean, the conditions were terrible. Tough division game for the division championship. And I think he did all he could given the circumstances. And I agree. The play calling, the downfield play calling has to be better. And Willie Smith, man, you took the words right out of my mouth. Jalen Coker, I think there's something there. I think that kid is special, right? He always shows up in these big situations when they make when they draw up plays for him.
He's got to be on the field more.
Yeah, got to be on the field more. I just feel like they're, like you said, the passing game the play calling has to evolve a lot more. I do think the offensive line has to be a little bit better. And I will say, Bryce Young didn't get sacked yesterday, but there's still too many times where he either just doesn't have the time to set his feet and make a throw. He gets rid of the ball a lot faster now, and his decision making when he's doing that is better. But there are too many times where I'm like, man, look at all the guys in the backfield. So,
it's funny you said that, man, because Kurt Warner made a statement. I believe it was yesterday, a couple of days ago, maybe, about if Bryce Young wants to take the next step, he has to set his feet more. And I think that's just kind of for Bryce Young, it's kind of trauma from his rookie season, like always expecting somebody to be in the backfield. You understand what I mean? So like those, Bryce Young, it has those happy feet where he's always prepared to get out of there. You know what I'm saying? And look, this is not to say I disagree with Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner is obviously, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to quarterbacking, obviously. You know what I mean? And I don't disagree with him. I'm just simply saying I think Bryce Young probably has some mental trauma from what this offensive line has given him the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes I think he does see ghosts out there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, Bryce Young is actually a pretty accurate passer of the ball. So a lot of times when he has to get rid of the ball quickly, there's not a lot of risks. When he
Right.
throws an interception, generally it's because he thought there was a play there that wasn't. Like the interception that he threw, I mean, the receiver was fairly open. You just got to make sure the safety's not going to jump the route. And the safety,
Yeah, right.
And here's the thing. How many times have we seen safeties or corners, jump that route and miss, and you get 6 points, right?
Right.
I mean, it happened to the Panthers against the Saints. J.C. Horn tried to jump the route, missed, and the Saints scored a touchdown. So
let me ask you this question real quick, man, because here's what I saw. What I saw was a Tampa Bay defense who was not scared of anybody going over the top. So they were just sitting on routes all day. I mean, is that fair to say?
Like they should have exploited T-Mac more. I mean, if you're going to believe that kid in one-on-one coverage, I throw to him every time. And I would just take the chance that there's going to be an offensive pass interference or whatever. McMillan had only 4 catches on 6 targets. Jalen Coker had the most targets with 7, and he had 6 catches. So, I mean, a solid performance from him. But I just feel like T-Mac is a special talent, and you've got to find ways to make sure. I mean, if the Saints can get the ball in Chris Olave's hand 4 straight plays against us, I don't understand why we can't.
Well, Kaiser, that's a little easy to do when your defensive coordinator calls cover 2 and cover 3 84% of the time.
Man,
that's a real stat, by the way.
How many times are we gonna get beat in the seam against our cover 3? That was the one of the first touchdown that Tampa Bay scored was, and I know you saw it. I was like, oh, cover 3, the seam is gonna be
wide open.
I mean, we all play Madden, right? Cover 3. All right, first read is gonna be the seam. Is it? Oh, it's open. Touchdown.
Man, Everroll would have to explain to me how you don't trust Horn and Jackson way more than you do in man-to-man coverage. Why don't you trust those guys in man-to-man more?
I think that they don't have that much confidence in the pass rush because to run man
that's fair. That's fair.
Got to be able to get to the quarterback consistently. And, but see, here's the thing. I've just never been a fan of mitigating that by playing soft coverage.
Right.
Because again, if against quarterbacks, that make great decision making, get rid of the ball quickly, which is what Baker Mayfield did that first drive. He did not hold the ball very long. He's like, oh, they're going to run these zones, these cover 3, cover 2 shells. I'm just going to throw to the open spots in the zone because every quarterback knows where those open spots are, and their offensive play caller is going to exploit that. I don't feel like we ever exploit anything from the other team that much. We just call plays. And
one thing from this defense that makes me want to throw my TV out the window, man, is like the lack of getting teams off the field on third down. That has got to change in the playoffs. I mean, that has got to change. You don't get away with that in the playoffs. You understand what I'm saying? Like, dude, you got 3rd and 12, and you can't get teams off the field, man.
I feel like that stat, 3rd down conversions, 4th down conversions is almost always down to coaching. Because that's when the chess game is, right? What's the opponent going to do on 3rd down, especially 3rd and short, 3rd and mid? And pass it, So I feel like, if the Panthers play calling, just has not been there defensively in those situations. I think a lot of times they just call a soft cover 3, cover 2 shell.
Yeah. And I don't want to jump too far ahead in this conversation, man, but I saw something. I saw another stat yesterday, and I don't know why I didn't realize this before. But Derek Brown leads our team in sacks with 5 sacks. Now, as great as Derek Brown is, and he should be an all-pro, which is BS. You know what I'm about to say. He should not lead the team in sacks. Your defensive tackle should never lead the team in sacks. Ever.
That's like when your safety leads the team in tackles, right? That's not good, right? Yeah, the pass rush I feel like has got to be priority in the offseason.
Absolutely.
I feel like the
Absolutely.
offense is in a good place as far as evolution. I really think the only change they need to make is bring in an actual offensive play caller.
Right.
And defensively, I think if you get a good pass rusher, which the Panthers would be able to do in the draft, even though they're going to pick fairly high or low, I think that has to be the case. You can't let your defensive tackle lead the team in sacks.
No. There's not a formula for success at all.
Let's look at our who's your offensive and defensive MVPs. Let's do it like we used to do it.
Oh man, I gotta think really hard about this one, man. Offensive MVP. I am probably gonna go Bryce, just because I don't believe there's anybody that stood out, quite honestly. So I'll go Bryce, offensive MVP. Defensive MVP, I like what Morrig did. I'm not looking at any stats because my laptop battery is going dead, but just kind of based off what I saw, I like what Morrig did. I think Morrig was a real big pickup this offseason. And I like what he did. He got a sack, man. I think his coverage was great. I think he made a bunch of good tackles. So I'll go Trayvon Moore for defensive MVP.
I'll go Bryce for offensive MVP only because he did not crumble under pressure.
Right.
This was a big game. This is the division championship.
He stayed poised, man. You got to give him credit for that. Absolutely.
And they're going to say that he lost because, the quarterback
takes blame for every single thing.
Right. I don't think it's Bryce Young's fault that they lose that game.
Same. I don't either.
I thought he played as well.
That didn't even cross my mind, honestly, man.
Yeah, I mean, considering the conditions, you're asked to pass the ball 35 times in a torrential downpour with bad field conditions against a division opponent in a game that determines whether or not you make the playoffs.
Right.
And you still throw for almost 70% and 300 yards. I think Bryce is going to be fine moving forward. Defensively, I'll give it to Derek Brown. Yeah, 13 tackles, man. That's a lot.
Wow.
That's a lot. You don't want your DP to have that many tackles. But
I may have to change my pick, man.
that's kind of crazy. Derek Brown all over the place. And we have not talked about this because we didn't talk about last week. So let's talk about this before we talk about next week's game. But I just don't understand. Actually, let me rephrase this. If Derek Brown played for Dallas, he'd be first team All-Pro.
Come on, man. If he played for any big market, if he played for Philly, because you imagine he played for Philly, he'd be, come on, man.
Hell, if he played for Tampa.
Anybody else. Almost. Outside of Tennessee or somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Curse of Charlotte sports.
It's BS, man. It's complete BS.
I don't see how that man didn't make the Pro Bowl. He'll probably play because I would be surprised if he's not first or second alternate. But but yeah,
I wouldn't even accept the invite if I was him. I'm like, man,
I wonder if the league. I wonder if they don't like Tepper.
That's very possible.
Consider this, right? Tepper is the richest owner in the NFL.
Right. So that's one reason
a lot of people don't realize that there aren't that many like true billionaires that are NFL owners. Typically, it's like a organization or a group of people who have a lot of money. That
man got money by himself.
Right. He had enough money to pay cash for the Panthers. Consider that, right? Like,
right.
Oh, y'all want $3.5 billion? Oh, hold on.
Hold on real quick, man.
Right.
Honey, go write the check real quick.
Yeah, let me get that for y'all, right? And the Panthers have not been, he's been a very visible owner for one. That incident against the Jaguars where he throws a drink.
Very vocal as well.
Very vocal. Showing up at local restaurants and businesses that criticize the Panthers. Stuff like that. I wonder if the NFL kind of feels like they gotta teach him a lesson, right? Like
forgot about that one,
a little this season, and I'm wondering if they're like, okay, well, we'll make sure Tampa gets into the playoffs. We'll make sure your guys don't make the Pro Bowl. We'll do this. We'll do that.
Right.
It was another conspiracy theory of mine. So.
Yeah, man. Sometimes they make too much sense, man. But here's what it is.
So according to ESPN, the Panthers will play the Rams next week.
Okay.
The Eagles will play the 49ers. Well, actually, hold on. Yes, the Eagles will play the 49ers, and the Packers will play the Bears. Those are all great matchups.
Those are all great matchups, right? I was thinking the same thing.
Really good weekend.
That's a good reason for me to just stay in the house all weekend and watch that. Yeah, no doubt.
So it looks like we're going to draw the Rams in a rematch. I know we just talked briefly about what are our possibilities of winning that game are, but let's be realistic here. I mean, are you going to pick the Panthers to win?
No, I'm not. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to pick us to win. I don't like the way we've been trending the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
And that's the real reason why. And the thing is, you know what? I'm not going to offer like some really deep analysis. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to use some Ron Rivera speak real quick. I think the Panthers have missed a lot of opportunities the last 2 weeks. I think there's a lot of lack of execution. I really, truly don't like the fact that we can't get teams off the field on third down. I will point to that one in particular. That's the one I truly don't like. I don't like the way the defense is trending. I guess to sum this all up, man, I don't trust Canales and Navarro. I'll just come out and say it. I don't trust Canales and Navarro to win the playoff game yet. I'm going to be happy that we have seen progression this season. I'm happy that Bryce in particular has shown a little bit of growth this season. I'll say that I'm happy that we've established some sort of identity with the running game. I'll be happy with that. But in a playoff situation, to keep it short and simple, I don't trust Canales and Navarro to win this game next week, and I'll keep it at that.
That was exactly what I was going to say. I actually think the last few weeks have not been, the missteps have not been the fault of the players.
Same.
It's been the coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like against Seattle, the players played as hard as they could that first half. The game was close. And where do you make your adjustments? Halftime, right?
Right.
They didn't make the right adjustments and they lost. Now Seattle's a better team, but I just felt like the play of the players were competitive enough. Also, same against the Saints. I mean, talent-wise, we have better players than the Saints.
Yeah,
I think everyone agrees that, right?
It's that simple, man.
Yeah,
and for them to find Chris Olave 4 straight plays is unacceptable.
Four. Sorry, I just get mad thinking about that drive
because it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
You remember that game against Chicago all them years ago? I know you. Jamal remembers games like I do, where out route 4 straight plays to win the game. Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Same route, same player, same coverage. Right.
Same coverage. That's the key right there. Same coverage. Yes.
I don't understand. Now, I know against the Saints, it wasn't the same coverage. They tried to switch it up, but you know where the ball's going. We all know where it's going.
You don't roll coverage over there. You
don't defend their best player. Yeah. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, I feel the same way against the Rams because, and let's keep it a buck. That Rams game, the Rams offense didn't have any problems.
They had no problem scoring. They had absolutely no problem scoring.
They were moving at will. We won that game because of turnovers and the weather conditions.
You stole the words out of my mouth. Stafford gave us a couple, which was probably the difference in the game. You know what I mean?
Yep. A pick six.
And I don't know if Stafford's going to do that in a playoff situation. So that's why I just can't pick us to win.
No, I agree. The Rams have some championship pedigree on their coaching side. I think we're going to get out-coached and lose this game, but it will be competitive. I don't think it's blown out.
Because we'll muddy up the game enough for it to be competitive. I'll say that much.
This is something to consider. This will be probably the only game this entire season in which every seat is full. Every seat is full.
Absolutely.
The fans are going to come out for a playoff game. It's going to be 72,000 people.
It's going to be a great environment. And listen, and I want to say this before before we stop talking about this topic, man. The reason why I did not, well, a part of the reason I did not want to play the 49ers because the 49ers will take over that damn stadium if they came to Charlotte. And I didn't want to see it. And I'm telling you this based off the last time the 49ers played a playoff game in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was a sea of red. And I just don't want to see that anymore. So, yeah.
Interesting stat here. Panthers have only allowed teams to score more than 28 4 times all year. That's a good stat. But there is an even more interesting stat. Look up stats about teams that allow, on average, more than 17 points a game. That's an interesting stat. I wonder where the Panthers fall in there. I haven't looked to see what they allow on average. And I will say the last few weeks, I feel like the defense has been keeping us in the game. I felt like they have kept us in the game. And yes, the offense is not holding up their side of the ball, but that's because the play calling sucks. The play calling sucks. I mean, it's against the Saints, it's fourth and inches. Why are you handing off 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage to Rico?
That part. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it speaks to situational play calling. I guess let me be very specific about that. And I get that, the identity of the Panthers defense is bend but don't break. I always call it bend but eventually break. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can't bend and break on 3rd and 15 when you've given up 3rd and 15. That's not bending and breaking. You're just bending. Like, be aggressive on 3rd down defensive calls. Like, get guys off the field. Like, I don't know, man. Don't go cover. Don't send these predictable blitzes only on 3rd down. You know what I mean? When the quarterback can clearly see it's coming. Like, just be better in situational play calling, man. That's all I'm asking out of these coaches, man.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like North Sea says he can't get with the Evero slamming. He can't because when he got real NFL players, the Panthers are good. I would argue that a good coach can find NFL level players and create a system with what he's got. Instead of saying, well, you know what? We can't rush the passer, so let's sit our guys in soft coverage and allow the other team to just move downfield on us.
84% of the time. Don't forget that part. 84% of the time.
Yeah, that's a bad stat. That's a really bad stat.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty terrible. But I will agree. I think the offensive side of the ball is where the problems are with the play calling. In fact, I think they have kind of opposite problems. With the offensive side of the ball, the talent is there. The play calling is not there. The defensive side of the ball, I don't think the talent is quite there. So the play calling has to be kind of stilted. Right?
That's fair.
You have to keep the defensive playbook simple because you don't have good edge rushers. Your linebacker core is kind of weak. The Panthers have a fairly stout secondary, I feel like, but at the same time,
While I totally agree with that statement, I don't back down from the situational play calling, man. I just don't. Regardless of talent, man, you've got to be better in situational defensive play calling, man.
I mean, the Panthers didn't even record a sack till what, week 4, week 5? They need a pass rusher.
Yeah, desperately. Yeah.
All right. So, what's your score predictions for next week?
Score predictions for next week, man. I am going to go 27-21 next week. Rams, unfortunately.
I'm gonna say I think it's gonna be flipped from last time. I think it's 31-28 Rams.
Take that. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, now the question is making the playoffs a good thing for the Panthers?
Yes, definitively yes.
Tell me why.
Because I'm gonna tell you why. This team, look, man. Number one, it's been long enough. Let's start there, okay? Number two, and the main reason why is that we need, and I'm gonna say this for the Charlotte Hornets as well. Both of these teams need an injection of winning culture. I don't give a damn about high draft picks anymore. I don't care about that anymore. I'm over it. I'm over it. At some point in time, you have got to establish a winning culture. You just cannot stack high draft picks and draft picks and draft picks and draft picks and 10 years and hopefully it crystallizes 10 years later. I'm over it. Nope. No. Establish a winning culture right now. That's it. That's my simple answer to that question.
Okay, yeah, no, I feel you on that, and I agree. But there's a little part of me that feels like the Panthers have overachieved. Some people would say, well,
maybe ahead of the timeline. Are you saying?
Yeah, ahead of the schedule, but there are still a lot of holes with this team.
Absolutely.
And it's like, how do we shore that up? Now, Dan Morgan has done an outstanding. This might be as a whole. I'm not talking about just at the top, but every pick that they've made this season.
Right.
This might be the best Panthers draft class ever. And I mean that as a whole. I mean, obviously, we have the Cam Newtons and the Luke Kuechly's, but just from top to bottom, every player that they've drafted has made significant contribution to the growth of this team this season. So I guess I just have to have faith that Dan Morgan is going to continue to do that job and build the team.
Well, Kaiser, I'll offer this to you. None of these guys on the D line outside of Derrick Brown deserve to. I mean, they don't deserve to get paid anymore. So
no, yeah.
I mean, to me, the money situation should be pretty easy to manage there. So, you know, the Panthers have never really swung for home runs in free agency, but I think if you can just go out and just get slight upgrades on the defensive line, well, let me say this much. If I'm Dan Morgan, my plan is to hopefully hit a home run in the draft as far as a pass rusher goes. Okay, like I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, but if you have a talent that's there that can change the fortunes of your D line, you take it, and then you fill in your little holes in between linebacker and defensive line in the offseason. I don't. Again, this is not really looking at the cap situation, but at the same time, I can't think of anybody like, oh God, we got to pay that guy. Derrick Brown's already paid, so we're good there. Outside of him, I don't care who they pay or not. So, so there's that, man.
All right. Last thing I want to talk about. Why isn't I mean, we all know the answer to this question. But why isn't T-Mac getting the love that he deserves as maybe the best rookie in the league? And will he get how much consideration will he actually get for rookie of the year? I think there's a consensus that he is the best rookie wide receiver, but right. I think a lot of people felt like that should have gone to Emeka, the guy from Tampa Bay, right?
Which I don't agree with at all.
Yeah, he didn't even play that well today. I think he had one catch for 8 yards, right?
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, where would you rank T-Mac? And what does he got to do? I mean, he broke the Panthers rookie record for most receiving yards, breaking Kelvin Benjamin's old record. I mean, is he going to be like the new Mike Evans?
You know why? I actually think yes, he is, and my answer may surprise you. But if you think about him, and if you think about Mike Evans, they're kind of the same when it comes to this. They're not necessarily marketable guys, and what I mean by that, they're not divas. Okay, Mike Evans ain't never been the type of dude that made any noise in the offseason. You know what I'm saying? He stayed loyal to the Bucs. How long now? He's never made a big fuss out of contract situations. He's never been in the media for anything negative. I see Tet being the same way. And like those two guys don't really get style points, if you understand what I'm saying. They just go out and do their job. They just go out and get the job done. They don't have crazy touchdown celebrations. They ain't taking a helmet off after they score. So they're just kind of boring when it comes to like media stuff, and it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate that stuff matters, but their names are never in the media for the wrong reasons. And if you look at wide receivers outside of Calvin Johnson, they're always in the media for something else other than being on the field. Terrell Owens, as outstanding as he was amazing. He always stayed in the news for something. Randy Moss, the same way. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They were phenomenal players, but they always kept the media, always had their names in the media's mouth. And with Tet, along with Mike Evans, it's kind of the same thing. They just kind of just go get the job done and nothing else. No style points.
Yeah, I agree. It's the curse of the Charlotte pro sports franchises. He'll if he played for anybody else, if he played for Dallas, they'd be talking about how great Jerry Jones is and what a great career this guy's gonna have.
Just a point of contention here. People may argue Steve Smith, but Steve Smith, not that he brought anything negative to the Panthers other than the Ken Lucas stuff. Other than that, he was just loud. He was boisterous. You understand what I'm saying? He was definitely somebody who you heard.
Steve Smith had to be that way. If Steve Smith had not been that way, if Steve Smith had the same career accolades wise, but not been that kind of player, he wouldn't get talked about as highly as he does now. I mean, he had to be that way because no one was going to talk about, the fact that, he's a 5'9" wide receiver. What round was he drafted in? The 5th that won the Triple Crown? Most touchdowns, catches and yards.
Right.
That's
with Jake Delhomme as your quarterback. Yeah.
Curse of the Carolina sports team. So hopefully, though, what I'm hoping is that T-Mac and Bryce seem like they have a really good chemistry. They build on it next year, barring injury. We didn't get to see Cam Newton and Kelvin Benjamin build on that. Kelvin Benjamin tore his knee the season the Panthers went to the Super Bowl. And who knows if he had been healthy that season, who knows, they might have maybe won if we didn't have to rely on whether or not the referees liked Jericho Cotchery.
That part.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, we'll see. I guess I'll celebrate tonight. We made the playoffs. Yay.
We're in the playoffs, man. We're in the playoffs. Regardless of how it happened, man, we are in the playoffs, bro.
We're there. Thank you. Shout out. We also going to shout outs to Atlanta Falcons and their fans. Danny Thompson.
Prolard. Thank you, Falcons, for not being worthless for once. Thank you.
It was like the Bloods and the Crips, coming together tonight for a common cause.
We talked to Bearcon for a week. Yeah,
it was crazy to see during the broadcast the Panthers fans at the Atlanta game. I remember thinking, I was like, I wonder how many Panthers fans are actually going to be at the Falcons game. And at the end of the game, Falcons fans, they didn't care. They were happy they won, but
let's go party now.
Right. Panthers fans dancing in the stands. So that was very funny. Shout at, just the world. Just let me wait. Just this. All of this. Just get out here. Yeah.
Do I have you know what? Same. Just shout at dumb people. I'll leave it at that. I don't even want to get into nothing today. Shout at stupid people. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I do want to close. I will close. My as far as a shout out or whatever on a positive note. I DJ'd at this place last night, cause it is beautiful, brother. You got to take it lady there.
I look crazy.
Hey man, I spun at this spot called Stylist Lounge, which is attached to Soul Gastro Lounge. Man, the sound in there is incredible. The layout is incredible, man. So y'all go holler at Andy at Soul Gastro Lounge. Get you some good sushi and good tapas plates, and then head to Stylist Lounge, man, and just kind of drink and chill out, man. It was an awesome environment, man. So shout out to Stylist Lounge, man. Absolutely.
Oh, certainly check that out.
Yes, sir.
All right. Again, thanks to our fans for joining us. This was spur of the moment. I figure either way. I figure we do a end of season show, whether we win or lose. And then next week, we'll do it again. If we lose, then season review. If we win, then we get ready to,
talk about the Hornets.
Oh God. Real quick, shout out to Miles Bridges. He made a statement the other day talking about how much he loves the city. He loves playing with the team. And he's like, man, I just wish we could be healthy. Something to I'm paraphrasing. Like, I just want to play with these guys when we're all healthy. And I'm with you there, Miles. I mean, if that team can get healthy, no one will want to play the Charlotte Hornets.
I look, man. I'm gonna bang this drum again, bro. Continuity. If the Hornets could ever just get some form of continuity, man, I'm gonna keep saying it.
Yeah. Well, and shout out to the refs. We should have beat the Bucs the other night, but whatever. You can't. If you look at Giannis, if you look.
Oh, by the way, the NBA, the 2-minute report came out after that game. Giannis should have been called for a 3-second violation on that last play. So there you go.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Thanks, refs, again.
Nothing's gonna happen. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the NBA should get rid of it. Get rid of that report. It makes people more angry.
That's it. It's all that just pisses you off more. Yeah.
Yep. I did see a comment. Someone said the NFL stands for the National FanDuel League. That's
funny.
That's like funny. That. Yeah. All right, and I will go listen to the Conway Machine album.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go do that. So, all right. Well, y'all, hey, happy New Year to everyone. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. Have a great New Year.
Guys, I'm gonna come over your house and play with you. I might come over there and play with your new control.
Oh, the great piece of kit. Yeah, great piece of kit.
Maybe steal it.
Yeah, man, hit me up. We'll do that.
All right.
The rest of y'all, take care. We'll see y'all next week.
We're back in the playoffs, baby. Keep pounding.